becoming a mother was the most difficult thing ever. I knew that I was going to change, but I never thought that I was going to change completely.
Gabriela, it's a pleasure to have you as my guest. Welcome to the J-Curve.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm a really big fan of your podcast. I think I've listened to all the episodes, so it's a
So you're my top one
pleasure to
listener this year.
to be here with you.
I'm a big fan of your work in corporate VC, so we're pretty much aligned here. And I would like to start with a little bit of your journey into the world of venture capital, the world of entrepreneurship. So, what are the key things that you think shaped your personality as a leader today?
I came from a very humble family. My dad is from the Philippines, and he decided to move to Brazil to look for jobs. He was an engineer, and he came without speaking Portuguese by himself, and he struggled a lot. But he was able to find a job, learn Portuguese, meet my mom in the middle of nowhere in the Northeast, in a city that's called Currais Novos, which is, we say sertão, it's a very hot place. He was doing mining, and my dad, he's very adventurous. He liked to explore nature and travel a lot. He is very entrepreneur and risk taker. He is my inspiration. And then my mom, she did not have the opportunity to study. We came from a very poor background, like my mother side of the family. And she needed to take care of her brothers. So that's why she had to leave school.
How many brothers?
6. And then she married my dad and became a mother without help because they decided to move to Bahia. So she was raising 3 kids by herself without help, without family. We were not able to like pay for help. And now that I became a mom, she's incredible woman because I wouldn't be able to do this. She did. And what I've seen when I was growing is that as partners, they were prioritizing our education because they wanted a better life. And they built this better life for their kids. There is this phrase that it's Fernando Pessoa, which is a Brazilian writer. He said, if you want to have a castle, build. If you don't build a castle, you will not have a castle.
And you decided to build a castle in a very non conventional industry. You decided to build a castle in the big corporations. So let's maybe talk a little bit about why did you think that starting your career in big corp was the right decision that created this opportunity to build a castle?
When I finished my degree, so I went to business school and law school, I was working as an intern in the federal prosecutor place. And if you want to be a prosecutor in Brazil, it's Ministério Público, you need to take a very hard test. My boss, which is my friend, still my friend, he told me, Gabby, I think you have the profile to be, this professional, a prosecutor. And I told him, no, 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 I want to try something different. I want to go to the private sector and go to São Paulo. And if I don't like, I can return. I will be always home in Salvador, but I need to be out of my comfort zone. I need to try. I decided to leave and I came to Sao Paulo. I took this exam to be a trainee. It was very difficult at the time. It was a Brazilian test with 80,000 people for 80 job positions. And I was selected to this trainee program.
How many again? 80?
80,000 people for 80 positions.
80,000 people for
80,000
80
people.
positions.
And then I was I was selected to this 1.5 year program, which is a trainee program that they help you to become a leader. And in large corporations, like many large corporations have this program. It's a formation program. They give you a lot of studies, access to, courses and coaching. And I was privileged to be selected. Actually, I was very hard. I prepared a lot for this selection process. And in this program, I had access to the C level, and it's a very intensive program that you do a lot of job rotation. And I was able to travel and live in Austria in the US. And then I realized that that's what I like. I like to be in huge companies with great people and bring revenue and thinking how we can impact the life of others. The first company was Votorantim. Votorantim is one of the largest multinational. It's an industrial conglomerate, and I used to work at the holding, so doing corporate and tax law, and that's why I like cross border agreements, negotiation, because I was doing this before I became an investor. And at Votorantim, I was able to find great leaders that motivate me to study abroad or pick the opportunities. Because one thing that I remember when I was there with my mentor, he's still there, Luis. He told me, Gabby, once you are, for instance, manager, a leader, you are the responsible for building your own opportunities. So since then, that was the best advice ever. I I told him that I wanted to study abroad. He told me, okay, so develop the policy and the company can help you. What? Okay, I'm going. And I did.
You went to Berkeley?
Yes. So I spent 2 years in California learning about the entrepreneur and tech ecosystem. I was granted this sponsorship for the company, and I study law and a master in law, but I did not finish because I decided to build my own company. So I built my vegetarian food company when I was in the US because I'm really obsessed about healthy and how I eat habits. And when I was in the US, visiting the Whole Foods for me was a playground. I realized that I wanted to cook or build products that in Brazil are not affordable. So when I was there, I developed my kombucha business, and now we have like restaurant and a factory, small factory that produces food. That was a try, and I learned how to be a entrepreneur, but in a very hard way. It's very difficult. It's not a tech company; it's a traditional company. It's food, it's logistics, it's people, it's restaurant, it's execution. I spent 2 years building this company with two partners, two women, incredible women, and I decided to come back to Votorantim. Actually, they sponsor and I need to come back and I wanted. They gave me a chance to build the new area focused on innovation business development. So the same coach, my leader, who inspired me to pursue my dreams and study abroad, he told me, okay, you want to work with innovation, with business development? Give me a plan. So from scratch, I developed the plan to work with startups, bring innovation to large corporations, and start the project to build the CVC over there. So I did this. And then CSN invited me to build the corporate venture capital of CSN. So I decided to leave and start this endeavor at
CSN
CSN.
is Companhia Siderurgica Nacional. Is
Yes.
that correct? Which
Yeah.
is a steel producer.
Steel mining, they have financial institution. It's also one of the largest industrial conglomerates in Brazil. And also they have operations abroad, in the US and some other countries. And there again, I have these great leaders who inspire me. Felipe Benjamin. Benjamin is the CEO. He has this background, invest in Vale and invest in other companies, other assets. And he has a lot of risk appetite. And I've learned a lot just being by him and being in the meetings because he has an entrepreneurial mindset and he's one of the largest shareholders of this company, which is a public company. It's listed, but it's still also a family business. I think that when you are in a family business, you have more skin in the game because you have a long view. You are the owner and you are the executive. It's like the founders in startups. And one thing that I've learned with him and with some other leaders that always find people who are better than you in some aspects. Learn from them. But you need to be humble. You don't have space for ego. And these leaders inspire me to always look for opportunities to grow and be surrounded with people who can help you and add value and give you a different perspective. At CSN, I spent 3 years building and investing in climate and deep tech in companies that could help our strategy of growth and also give access to new business like green hydrogen or things that really matters to our corporation. And it was 5 years ago, 4 years ago. We're not even talking about ESG, renewables, climate, but at CSN, we're already doing this. We're already thinking about climate and sustainability or new source of revenue or new source of energy, renewable energy, but through the investments. Now we have a lot of deal flow, but at the time we were looking to opportunities in Brazil, in the universities, in the research centers. When you look at the companies in Brazil, it's a lot of like business model. It's not tech, in deep tech. And where are those companies in startups? They are being incubated in universities. And sometimes it's not the type of founder who are used to fundraise. It's the scientist, it's a tech guy, nerd guy. It's not a guy who is here, have like MBAs or it's Faria Lima. It's a
For your
traditional
limers,
scientist people in deep tech.
did you travel a lot to all these universities, meeting with
Yes.
researchers?
Minas, São Paulo, even Bahia, Ceará, which is near Northeast. It's a great place for renewables energy. In the
How
south,
so?
it's one of the states who receives more solar. So there we have a lot of wind energy and solar energy. There are many, many companies who are developing new technologies or renewables energy in the Northeast because of the sunlight. That's where we can find great founders, but we need to leave the
The
city,
comfort
right?
zone. How
What
did
is
your
that?
decision to join Telefonica and take another big leap in your professional career come to be?
It was very painful to leave CSN because I love and I still love because I'm always attached to people who I work. And but Telefonica invited me to work in an established arm. That's what's different.
That was very different.
Yeah. Telefonica is a telco company that its headquarters in Spain, and they have operations in many countries. In Brazil, it's Vivo.
It's like a different brand.
It's a different brand, but it's a company that has operations in the UK, Germany, Spain, Latin. It's huge. There are more than 100K employees. In Telefonica, we have this arm, the seed arm, that the name is Wayra. So Wayra is doing seed investments since 2011. We have operations in 9 countries. We made more than 1,000 investments in the past 12 years. And Telefonica and Wayra was the pioneer. The global CEO is also a Endeavor ambassador, and he built Wayra. And so he likes to be surrounded with people who can add a new perspective. And I was invited to be responsible for Wayra and also for Vivo Ventures. What is the difference? Wayra is doing seed and is linked to Telefonica, and Vivo Ventures is the growth fund of Vivo, and the investment thesis is a bit different. So we are looking for more mature entrepreneurs, could be a standalone, very good investment. And also we could partner to develop new business models and new business like health and education and fintech in energy.
Conceptual, there is a huge stigma around CVC in the startup world. Startups think that it's almost like a selling your soul to a devil. Traditional VCs are often skeptical when you bring a CVC, especially at the earliest stage of the startups, because it's perceived that it will be challenging to close customers. So, how do you think about the CVC as a player in the venture capital ecosystem? What makes you personally excited about that?
What I love most about CVCs is that we can invest and add value with resources, but we can also help them to test the product in a real world with real challenges. We can also be a client and offer recurrent revenue or even partner with companies to distribute the technology.
How big
Something
is the
that
distribution capabilities of Telefonica?
Telefonica has more than 400 million access. We have this huge power of distribution, not only with our current base of clients, but also as we are in different countries, we can help the entrepreneurs with the internationalization process. So this is one of our unique value proposition. We have now almost 30 companies in our portfolio. Half of them are doing business. And we brought last year almost 100 million of revenue for those entrepreneurs. They are seed companies. So 1 million, 10 millions, 5 millions makes a real difference for the founders.
So you brought your portfolio companies 100 million reais in revenue.
Yes. So by partnering or by becoming a client.
What are the profiles of companies that you are the most excited from the corporate perspective? What are the types of companies or types of industries that you're looking at and backing as an investor today?
So we are looking to AI. For us, is a technology that needs to be in all in thesis that we have. And then also, for instance, fintech. One of our main assets is that we have many clients, more than 112 million of clients, B2B and B2C.
Oh.
So if you decide to be a bank, we will be one of the largest bank. And we can add more value to our clients if we offer more products. If we lend, if we have a solution of supply chain finance. So fintech is something that we are looking to. And other types of technology like energy, health, and education. Because we have the clients, we have the impact, we have the distribution channel. So we need to be associated with those technologies that can help us to provide better services and add more value to our current clients. And of course, improve market share and new sources of revenue.
I will ask you a horrible question, as I love asking venture capitalists the question about favorite babies. When you look at your portfolio today across seed stage and growth stage, and by the way, I absolutely love that you created this ecosystem within Telefonica to get an access to companies of absolutely different stages, profiles, sizes, and so on and so forth. So, what is your favorite company in your portfolio today, and why did you get excited about the company?
Wow, this is a very hard question. I really like Klubi. Klubi is a fintech company, and they are helping us to build a new product with this consortium. And the entrepreneur, Eduardo, is amazing. He's very experienced in the financial sector. And in 6 months, we were able to uh, develop two new products, like very quickly. One was this car. consortium product. And another one,
Can
it
you
was
explain a little bit about what consortium is? Because it's a
yeah,
very consortium.
Brazilian.
It's actually really interesting. I didn't know what that is until Roberto Danioni explained that consortiums is one of the spaces where he thinks blockchain has a lot of application. And I learned that it's a very specifically, very unique Brazilian phenomena. So if you could talk a little bit about what that actually is, that would be super helpful.
Okay, so consortium is a established product, financial product. So, for instance, if you want to buy a car or a house, we can pay a monthly amount for normally traditional banks that offer those type of products. And then one time you're going to be selected to receive the car or the house. It's a financial product that you become part of a group that can have access to housing and cars, for instance, here in Brazil. And normally, who offers those type of products are large banks. And consortium is a very old school product. And Clube was the first fintech that received a BACEN license to operate in this world. So they are disrupting old school market that large banks have the market share.
How big is this market opportunity, consortium market opportunity in Brazil?
The market is more than 100 billion of
Just in Brazil?
reais in Brazil. It's a very Brazilian product.
100 billion reais.
Yes,
Just what?
more than that.
$20 billion.
Yeah. Now we have housing for cars, and what we are trying and doing with Clube is doing consortium also for electronics, iPhone, and other segments that normally we don't get access, or it's a different way of accessing a financial product. We invested in Clube with, for instance, Paulo Veras. Paulo Veras is one of the founders of 99, the first Brazilian unicorn. He is now a great investor. And when I was talking to him, he said there are two companies that I really like and I believe. One is Clube and the other one is Digibee.
Oh, you
And
bet
you
both.
invest in both. Yeah. Thanks, follow us. And and he's personally involved in the board and helping them to build the products and adding his unique view and experience.
How big is the company?
The company now is pre-series A. So it's growing a lot, double digits. We also are distributing the product. We already originate a lot of millions for the entrepreneur by partnering and putting him in our distribution channels.
Actually, the
And
market is fascinating. Consortium market is fascinating. You mentioned that he's a great founder. So I'm curious for you personally, what are the 3 or 5 most important traits that you think are essential to be called a great founder from Gabi perspective?
okay, be stubborn but coachable, have a long-term view, and be very disciplined with the financial part of the business. I don't normally look into the type of entrepreneurs who are able to raise a lot, but do not have a product. So we need to really build something that is solving a real problem. And when I look into Clube and Digibee, both founders are solving a huge problem. Digibee is solving a trillion market problem. Digibee is an enterprise integration platform, and they are solving a digital transformation problem by developing a technology that is able to integrate many legacy systems. Every large corporation has this challenge, and Digibee were able to really develop a low code, non code technology that can help companies to be more productive. It's not sexy
I think
market.
one of the excellent predictor of how successful the company could be is how unsexy the market problem is.
It's
Yes.
trillion. It's a trillion problem or market. So it's huge. And when I look into Digibee case, I saw that, for instance, Salesforce, they invested in MuleSoft. And then after a few years, they acquired the company. The company was valued in billions. It's a great benchmark. And they realized that the market's huge and the market is in the US. And now they are building an operation in the US. We are able to, for instance, bring great investors such as Goldman Sachs that are helping them to enter the US market. And we are helping them to enter the European market because we have operations in Europe.
I want to switch gear and talk a little bit about female leadership in the corporate environment. You are one of a very few women who were consistently successful in a complex, bureaucratic, traditional environments. You are the light in the ecosystem that brings innovation and combines and integrates innovations in the operations of the companies, as well as providing the distribution for the startups. So, how would you describe the key leadership skills that females who are willing to attempt to succeed in such complex environments need to develop, and what it takes to be a consistently successful in that environment from the interpersonal perspective?
Okay, that is a great question. When you are a leader and you are women, sometimes you are by yourself because we are in a world which is dominated by men. When you look into the data, we have only 15% of women in CVCs in leadership. In VC, the role is the same. It's dominated by men, and that's fine. There is no competition. It's not men against women. It's us together. But we need to know how to navigate because men normally are more aggressive. There are a lot of alpha males in this world. Anyway, sometimes you need to be also a alpha female.
What are the three key pieces of advice that you would give to women that are entering or starting their track in corporate environment and corporate CVC environments?
First, never be a victim. You are protagonist. You have all the tools you need to thrive, and you need to be different and add real value to be able to thrive in this environment, which is not easy. And second, don't try to be something else. Don't try to be a man. Be a woman. Act like you. If you have aggressive style, okay, that's fine. You're not less women because you're very aggressive. If you want to thrive in this environment, we need to be tough. We need to be direct. We need to be aggressive. But don't lose the sweet part of yourself. Don't pretend to be something else. It needs to be natural. I think we really need to help people. We do not need to expect something
Paying forward.
uh, paying for it.
Paying forward is like
Paying
when
for
you
it.
are contributing so much, because in the long term, it will get back to you. Is that right?
Yes. And you need to be very resilient because sometimes the things will take longer than you expect and you're going to be frustrated. But like entrepreneurs, if you want to do something different, you need to take with regulators. We need to like create technology. It's the same thing in corporations. You need to be an entrepreneur in established market or an established company.
I love this mindset of being an entrepreneur in established company. So when organizations, big corporations think about starting a corporate VC within the organization, what are the biggest mistakes or what are the biggest misconceptions in terms of how it should be done?
One of the most important thing is to align expectation. and also give bad news, prepare the company, and educate the IC that the majority of your investments, they're not gonna work. You're gonna do a lot of write-offs. You're gonna do a lot of mistakes.
And
Second, I think that we need to build a thesis that's very well connected to the strategy of the company. So, giving you an example, Vivo. What matters to Vivo? Connectivity is the new way that we can do digitalization and develop new markets, like all the digital platforms, healthcare, all those, even TikTok, Netflix, all those companies that are tech companies, they need infrastructure and they need an enable. So we are one of those enables. So we need to think what is next? What is the strategy? What is the view of the company? So when you design, the thesis needs to be connected to the strategy of the company. And we need to build trust. If you want to have a long and successful CVC and be able to have a huge, more AUM, we need to build trust with your IC, and it's like an investor relation with the founder
management.
and the investors. You need to share that news and look for advice.
You and your husband are college sweethearts.
Yeah.
So you've managed to build lifelong relationships, not just within organizations you've been involved with, but into your actual life. What do you think are the premise of your successful personal partnership that lasts for so many years?
So I met my husband when I was at university. We did Empresa Junior together and we were friends. And that's the base of our relationship, friendship. In these 12 years that we have been together, we changed a lot. I'm a new Gabriela. I'm now a mother and I have different interests. And he also changed a lot. But in our journey together, we are partners in crime. We support each other. So if I decide to move, or if I decide to, I don't know, if I have a hard decision to make, he is my best friend. And he helped me to take the best decision. And also, all the decisions that he is making, he asks me, Gabi, what will you do? So, really, we really want to understand how we can continue this partnership together by building and keeping our values. We are different person now. After 12 years, we're not the same. But when I look at him, he's hot, he's handsome, and we have this attraction. But what keep me in love with him, and I love him more and more, is that he has great values. He is a great husband, a great father, and a great friend.
So, would you say that the marriage is a lot of work or it's something that happens naturally?
I think marriage is a choice. I choose to be with my husband every day, and we need to work in this marriage because there are many times that I want to kill him. But and we disagree. That's fine to disagree. But I choose to be with him every day, every decision. I want to explore new countries and new adventures with him. I want to keep myself interested to him. We need to share our life, but we need to keep our individuality. So I have my friends. I have this part of me that it's me and he respects, and I respect him. We are both introverts and we love nature and we share many things in common. Like we love books, we love philosophy, we like to explore new things, we love being parents, and we want to become great parents by um, I don't know, helping this baby to be a great person in the world that can help the world to be a better place to live.
How
And
did
it's
becoming a
difficult.
mother change you as a woman, as a wife, and as an executive?
I think being a mother
Yeah.
changed everything in my life. I was raised by a mom that was a full time mom. And now that I became a mother, my mom became my superhero because she was able to cook, raise, educate, which is tough. You have kids, right? So it's tough to educate. You need to be resilient because you are helping a person to become a person. I want to be a great example. I want to have time, quality time. I'm a workaholic. My husband is workaholic too. And when I became a mother, I realized that, oh my God, I need to be a better person because
In
I
terms of
want
time
to,
management.
besides to sleep deprivation, besides everything that I almost got crazy because I was not sleeping. Once I read, when you become a mother, you become guilty because we're never enough. We are always guilty. If I'm working, I'm not having time for my son. It's not true. Don't be guilty. Your son will see you as a person who has your own interests and he will admire you as you are. And so don't be guilty. But yeah, of course I was. And I also realizing he also, my son helped me to see that what matters most is the quality time that we spend with them, the good memories, the good experiences that we can build together. And becoming a mother was the most difficult thing ever. I knew that I was gonna change, but I never thought that I was gonna change completely.
Gabby, we're going to move to a rapid fire.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you 5 short questions and I'll appreciate your immediate responses. Let's dive right in.
Okay.
The first question is, what's one piece of content, book, Netflix movie every founder should read or watch, and why?
I think all the founders need to read the book Ego is Your Enemy. It's a book that I read 3 times, and it's about stoicism and how ego is bad for what you build.
When was the last time you changed your mind about something important?
To become a mom, I was not sure if I wanted to become a mother. And 3 years ago, I decided to try and I changed my mind. And I think it was the most incredible journey that
You didn't
I
think
have.
that you would be a good mother? Or you didn't think that motherhood is for you?
I thought that was not for me because it's tough. When I saw my mom by herself raising kids, was how come
It's so
she had to
scary,
have
huh?
a lot of time and she's not gonna sleep and yeah, so I was scary about all
The downsides.
the downsides, but yeah, don't think about being a mother, just do and be because you're gonna learn by doing, by being a mother.
It's probably the best thing that can happen to
The best
you
thing in
as
the
well as
world.
a woman. If you were to give a public talk, but you could not talk about venture capital, corporate investing, startups, entrepreneurship, or anything related to your day to day work, what would you talk about?
People, team, and people, how we can build more things with great people, which can be complementary. So people will be something that I love to talk about leadership, all the topics related to human behavior. I love understanding how we make decisions, how the relationships are built. So human behavior, psychology, and human behavior.
If I give you a magic stick and you have an opportunity to change 3 things in Latin America, Brazil, or the world, what those 3 things would be?
Cliche, but opportunities. So try to eliminate inequality. in Brazil, Latin America, especially in emerging markets. Second, more inclusion. For instance, my brother is gay, and when he decided to communicate about his sexuality, I realized that there are so many prejudice labels. You're women, or you're gay, or you're a black person. So also try to change
eliminate the
this.
prejudice.
And third, it's my job, but I will bring more access to technologies in the deep tech space.
If you were an alcoholic beverage, which beverage would you be and why?
I love apple martini. It's a very unique drink. It's
I actually
sweet,
tried to
but
get it
very strong.
somewhere. It's really hard to find.
It's
Why?
a small drink, very strong, and
Very
very
sweet.
unique and difficult to find. So I will choose apple martini, which is one of my favorite drinks in the world. And it's delicious, it's strong, it has the right size for you. So,
And it's sweet.
it's
Just
sweet.
like you are. Gabby, thank you so much for being with me today and sharing so much of your wisdom. And it's super impressive what you've managed to achieve and how you build your relationships, how you build your perspective, how you build your career.
Thank you, Olga, for your time, for this awesome conversation, and just for helping to share these stories to the world. I love your podcast. I'm a really big fan. You know that. And besides all the podcasts, you're a very great person. And so thank you for your time and for helping our um, entrepreneurial ecosystem to thrive.